calories in, calories out. So this is something that is very prominent on social media right now. And just like anything related to fitness, it can be very misleading, um, because of the way people talk about it, because how they present their information, um, because it's easy with words to kind of get a point across that might not be 100% true. So I wanted to bring some clarity around, uh, you know, that idea of calories in, calories out, and that all you need is to be eating less than you're burning. So let's start with the idea that 100 calories of whatever is the same. Your body will treat it the same. It will yield the same results as 100 calories of something completely different. So, the easiest way to talk about it is to get the extremes, because then we understand the concept behind it, and then we can kind of get whatever is in the middle, if you guys want to talk about that specific. So if I get 100 calories of steak versus 100 calories of Oreos, a lot of times people will be like, that's equal. That's just 100 calories. And at the end of the day, calories in, calories out, as long as you're eating more or eating less than you're burning, you're going to lose weight. But I have 4 problems with this idea. The first one is the thermic effect of food. So when we eat something, it takes energy, so it takes calories for our body to digest that food, right? It's not a passive process, it's a very active process. That's why a lot of times people will say like, oh, calories are like negative calories, right? You're burning calories when you're eating celery, because the amount that it takes to digest celery might be more than it actually gives you. It takes more energy to break that down. It's such a fibrous piece of food, but there's no content to it, right? And there's no macros to it, so you don't get really anything from it. And whole foods, single ingredient foods are always going to be more work to break down and digest than simple foods, right? So if you imagine meat, right? A piece of steak, how much energy do you think it takes to digest that thing, right? They have to chew 30 times just to be able to swallow it, for your body to strip all of the nutrients from that, right? To break that down, to mold it into what's going to come out, to push it down your digestive tract all the way down, right? That's a lot of energy that it might take. Now think about Oreos, or think about a Yoplait yogurt full of sugar, or think about a cocktail drink, or think about a Twinkie, right? In all these scenarios, you can imagine that it takes way less energy to do that whole process, to break it down, to strip away the things that you're going to absorb, even to absorb that, right? The more liquid state something is, the easier it's going to be for your body to just absorb it. So at the end of the day, 100 calories of steak might be less calories than 100 calories of Oreos, because the math is going to be different, right? Like say that 100 calories of steak takes 20 calories for you to break it down and digest. So your net is 80, opposed to Oreos, which might be 3 calories, right? So now you got a 97. So that's 17 calories in 100 calories. That's 17%, right? That's a big difference when compounded over a day. Because in a day, maybe we eat, 2,500 calories, 2,000 calories. That's 200 calories, probably 300 calories, 350 calories that you think you might be under eating, but that should be added to your math, right? So the thermic effect of food is something that accounts for about 10% of the total daily expenditure of calories. So 10% of your total math might be wrong just because you're thinking about calories in, calories out. Or I guess you're just thinking about calories in, right? So even half of that equation is already messing up what we're trying to talk about. The second thing is that food will be broken down into usually 3 categories, right? The 3 macronutrients. So our protein will become amino acids, our fats will become fatty acids, and our carbs will become saccharides. Those simple elements have their preferred way of being utilized, right? We talk about how protein is very important, probably the most important macronutrient you can have, because your cells require protein to survive, to divide, to regenerate, right? Your muscles require protein as building blocks for them. Can't really get the things that you need to play the part of protein from fats and carbs. So eating, again, we'll take the extreme, eating 2,000 calories in a day, having them all be from protein, will be very different from eating 2,000 calories from all of them being from carbs. Same thing from fatty acids. Same thing from fat. When we break down and digest those macronutrients, they tend to go in different places because of their structure, because of how the body likes to utilize them, right? So the idea of calories in, calories out is that all that matters is the math. But if you take 2 people and have them burn the same amount of calories, and one eat only protein or fat or whatever carbs, and the other one eat just something else, or even within the same macronutrient, right, as we're going to talk about a little bit later, there's a difference between processed carbs and complex carbs. So even within the same category, there's going to be very different results, very different consequences. But in the broad picture, right, just thinking about macronutrients, there's going to be a huge difference in what happens. So it's not going to be just about the numbers. And then there's also micronutrients, right? Micronutrients have a lot to do with the quality of things in your body, right? The macros, I think about quantity, right? I think about the math of calories in, calories out. I think about the amount of muscle mass. I think about the amount of adipose tissue. I think about the amount of energy that you're going to have. But the micronutrients is what makes the quality. We're going to feel good, right? You want to have micronutrients. You want to have a strong immune system, micronutrients. You want to have a good hormonal profile, micronutrients. The calories that you eat are going to either come with micronutrients or not. right? If we eat single ingredient whole foods, most likely they're going to have a good micronutrient profile. Vegetables, fruit, meat, organ meats, those are very micronutrient dense, opposed to Oreos, Twinkies, processed food, right? Anything that is not a single ingredient. Everything that is not something that you can just find out in nature. Those tend to have a way smaller nutrient dense profile. So the quality of your body process is going to change, right? The quality of your metabolism is going to change. The quality of your hormonal profile is going to change. Those dictate a lot. And how many calories you burn, how the calories are allocated. So just thinking about calories, you completely forget the micronutrient idea, right? So another reason why just calories in, calories out doesn't account enough for how your body will be. Because at the end of the day, the point is for us to make something sustainable, right? To make something healthy. If you're trying to be healthier, ideally, I'd like you to do that through a healthier way, not take the unhealthy way to get healthier. So when we're just thinking about calories and just thinking about the math between how much you burn and how much you eat, you even might be making that more unhealthy, the process, right? More unhealthy than you were, because all you care about is these numbers, right? Forgetting all of these things that I'm talking about. And then finally, the fourth thing. So we so far have micronutrients, macronutrients, thermic effect of food, and then finally satiety. Whole foods, single ingredient foods, fibrous carbs, complex carbs, healthy fats tend to keep you full for longer, opposed to processed, ultra processed foods, right? It has nothing to do with the math, but it has to do with the experience, right? So if somebody's caring about calories in, calories out, most likely they're trying to lose weight. If you're trying to lose weight, one of the biggest things you want is consistency over time. If the way you're eating is making you incredibly hungry, because 100 calories of Oreos is like 3 Oreos, and 100 calories of steak is going to be a little bit more in volume and is going to be a lot more in satiety, but you're choosing just because it's 100 calories, might as well eat the Oreos because I like them better, right? You're going to be hungrier sooner. You're going to be less full. And the experience that you're going to have with 100 calories, my whole point is that 100 calories is not the same. And I've given you numbers and the sciencey part of why they're not the same. But now I'm going to give you a perception thing of why it's not the same. Because you're not going to feel the same way eating 100 calories of Oreos than you are 100 calories of steak. And that's, even though it's less concrete of a point, is a very real point. Because the people that struggle with dieting the most are the people that cannot keep dieting, right? Because they cannot maintain this calorie deficit and they just struggle to be in it. So while losing weight eventually will come down to how many calories you're eating, the idea that 100 calories is the same regardless of where it's coming from is incorrect. And that it's all that matters, and it's not. Because even if you lose weight because you're eating less, but you're miserable, but your health is deteriorating because of micronutrients, and you're losing muscle because you're not eating enough protein, then again, you're taking an unhealthy way of trying to get healthier. So whenever you see these calories in, calories out, doesn't matter if it's from this or from that. Carbs are not all bad. You can eat all your calories from carbs. Take that with a grain of salt. At the end of the day, yes, the math matters, and that's how you're going to lose weight. But on the other hand, sacrificing a few things in order to get there might not be worth it. And again, that's why the idea of having a coach, having somebody there that knows you, that can help you, that can change things based on you and your likes and your dislikes and your goals, is always going to be the best way to go about training, nutrition, lifestyle, all that.